Jokic with the triple-double, his 22nd of the season and 186th of his career. And then McCain on the other end scores. And Jokic hits the deck. He doesn't like it. Gets in the face of Dort. Jalen Williams comes in, and Jokic and Jalen Williams do battle. Now the coaches come in along with some teammates to break things up. Jokic and Jalen Williams face to face right now.
The game itself ended in a strong win for the team, but the conversation quickly shifted away from the score and toward the sideline exchange between the coach and the star player. Many people on social media thought they were seeing a major conflict. Others believed it was simply two competitors showing emotion during a tense game. What actually happened tells a bigger story about competition, pressure, and how teams deal with frustration in the middle of a season. The Lakers came into that game needing a win. They had just gone through a difficult stretch of games. Before facing the Warriors, they had lost badly to the Bruins. After that, they suffered two more close losses that could have gone either way. Players were frustrated, coaches were frustrated, and fans were beginning to worry about the direction of the team. When a team with championship expectations goes through that kind of stretch, every moment on the court starts to feel more important. Every defensive mistake, every missed rotation, and every substitution gets noticed. When the Lakers arrived in San Francisco to play the Warriors, they were determined to respond. From the opening minutes of the game, their energy looked different. The offense was moving well, and the team was pushing the pace. Even though the Warriors were missing several key players, the Lakers still needed a solid performance to reset the mood around the team. By the end of the night, they had done exactly that, winning the game in convincing fashion. But during the first half of the game, something happened that would soon dominate the conversation. Luka Doncic, who had been leading the Lakers' offense all season, made a few defensive mistakes on back-to-back plays. One play led to a putback score by a Warriors rookie. Another mistake allowed a wide-open three-pointer. For a coach who is trying to build defensive habits, those mistakes matter. That is when J.J. Redick decided to make a quick substitution. Redick called for Doncic to come out of the game. At first, Luka signaled that he wanted to stay in. He believed he could finish the remaining moments of the quarter and make up for the mistakes, but the coach had already made his decision. Redick wanted to send a message about effort and awareness on defense. The substitution was not meant to punish Luka personally. It was meant to show the entire team that defensive mistakes would be addressed immediately. When Doncic walked toward the bench, the moment that later went viral began to unfold. As he approached the sideline, Redick reached out for a quick fist bump, something coaches and players do all the time during substitutions. Luka kept walking without acknowledging it. From the outside, the moment looked small, but in the middle of a game filled with frustration, it caught the coach's attention. Redick followed him toward the bench and began speaking to him. Cameras caught the two exchanging words. Later, people online tried to decode what was said during that conversation. According to lip readers on social media, Redick asked Luka what his problem was and why he brushed off the gesture. Luka responded that he did not push his coach's hand away. Then the coach reportedly told him to sit down. At that moment, fans began debating what the exchange meant. Some people believed Luka had disrespected his coach. Others believed the coach had spoken too harshly to his star player. The internet reacted exactly the way it always does when a dramatic moment appears. Fans chose sides. One group said that no player should ignore a coach on the bench. They argued that a team cannot function if the star player refuses to listen. Another group believed Luka had earned the right to express frustration because of everything he does for the team offensively. Many former players and analysts also began sharing their opinions. Some praised Redick for holding his star accountable. They argued that championship teams need coaches who are willing to challenge their best players. If the coach allows the star to do whatever he wants, the rest of the team will notice. Over time, that can create bigger problems inside the locker room. Other voices defended Doncic. They pointed out that he is one of the most competitive players in the league. When a competitor is taken out of the game during a tense moment, frustration can appear instantly. That reaction does not always mean the player is disrespecting the coach. Sometimes it simply shows how badly the player wants to win. A few days later, J.J. Redick addressed the situation publicly before the Lakers played the New Orleans Pelicans. Reporters asked him about the viral clip and whether there was tension between him and Luka.
Reddick seemed surprised by the level of attention the moment had received. He explained that exchanges like that happen all the time in competitive basketball. According to Reddick, there was nothing unusual about the conversation. He said he and Luka talk openly during games and that both of them are focused on the same goal. He also explained that players and coaches sometimes raise their voices during games because emotions are high. In his view, the moment was simply part of normal competition. Reddick also shared something that surprised many fans. He said that he and Luka had already talked about the viral clip and even laughed about it. From their perspective, it was not a dramatic moment at all. It was just two people reacting to a stressful moment during a game. Reports from league insiders supported that explanation. Sources close to the team told reporters that there was no long-term tension between the coach and the player. They described the relationship between Reddick and Doncic as strong and respectful. Both men understand the pressure that comes with playing for the Lakers. Even Rich Paul, who represents some of the biggest stars in the league, spoke about the situation on a podcast. He said that passionate exchanges between players and coaches can actually be healthy. According to Paul, it shows that everyone involved cares about winning. If nobody reacts when mistakes happen, that could be a sign that the team lacks urgency. While the coach and player both tried to calm the situation publicly, the debate around Luka's playing style continued. Over the weeks leading up to that Warriors game, several analysts had already criticized his defense and his habit of arguing with referees. Some former players questioned whether his leadership style made things harder for teammates. One of the people who spoke about this issue was Sam Mitchell. Mitchell said young players on a team might feel frustrated if they are asked to play defense every possession, while the star player does not show the same effort. His comments sparked another round of discussion across sports shows. Another analyst who shared a similar opinion was Jay Williams. Williams said Luka is one of the most talented players he has ever seen, but he also mentioned that some habits could hurt the team.
They argued that a team with championship goals needs every player to commit on both ends of the floor. At the same time, many people defended him by pointing out the pressure he carries every night. As the main offensive engine of the team, Luka handles the ball constantly, creates plays for others, and takes the biggest shots. That workload can affect a player's energy on defense. Fans who support him believe his offensive brilliance more than makes up for those weaknesses. The conversation also touched on the trade that brought Luka to the Lakers. The deal that sent him to Los Angeles was one of the most surprising moves in recent NBA history. It involved major players and future assets, showing how strongly the organization believed in his potential. By committing to him with a massive contract extension, the team made it clear that he is a central part of their future. Since joining the Lakers, Doncic has delivered many incredible performances. He has scored 40 or more points multiple times and recorded several triple-doubles. In one historic performance, he joined legendary Lakers like Magic Johnson, Elgin Baylor, and Jerry West by producing a rare 40-point triple-double for the franchise. Moments like that remind everyone why the Lakers made such a huge commitment to him. His ability to control the pace of the game, create scoring opportunities, and take over in the fourth quarter is rare. Few players in the league can match his offensive creativity. Despite the noise around the bench exchange, the Lakers began playing better after that game. The team went on a small winning streak, and Luka continued producing strong performances. In several games, he scored over 30 points, while also contributing rebounds and assists. The improvement suggested that the sideline moment had not damaged the relationship between coach and player. If anything, the team seemed more focused. Some fans even began to believe that the confrontation had helped reset the team's mindset. Inside the locker room, the message was clear. Passion is acceptable, but the team must remain united. Reddick's approach as a first-time head coach involves open communication with players. Because he spent many years in the league as a player, he understands the emotional side of the game. At the same time, he believes strongly in accountability. A coach must be willing to correct mistakes, even if the mistake comes from the best player on the roster. Reddick's decision to substitute Luka during the Warriors game was part of that philosophy. As the season moved closer to the playoffs, the Lakers faced larger questions than one sideline argument. The team's defense still needed improvement. The fit between different stars on the roster continued to be analyzed by fans and experts. Some analysts suggested that the long-term future of the team could involve building more completely around Luka's style of play. Others believed the team should focus on strengthening the supporting cast instead of making major changes. What remained clear was that Luka Doncic is one of the most talented players in the world. His scoring ability, court vision, and confidence make him a nightmare for opposing defenses. When he is fully engaged, he can control an entire game. The challenge for the Lakers is finding the perfect balance between freedom and structure. Luka needs space to create and improvise, but the team also needs defensive discipline and teamwork. That balance is what Redick is trying to build during his first seasons as a head coach. The sideline confrontation ended up representing that larger struggle. It was not a terrifying secret or a sign that the team was collapsing. It was a small moment that showed how intense competition can become in the middle of a game. In the end, both coach and player made their positions clear. Redick wants accountability and effort from everyone on the team. Luka wants to compete at the highest level and lead the Lakers to a championship. Those goals are not in conflict. In fact, they may be exactly what the team needs. Two strong personalities pushing each other can sometimes create the kind of edge that championship teams require. The Lakers still have challenges ahead. The playoffs will test their defense, their chemistry, and their ability to stay calm under pressure. But if the relationship between Redick and Doncic continues to grow stronger, the team will have a solid foundation to build on. For now, the viral moment has already faded into the background. The wins after that game showed that the team can move forward quickly when everyone stays focused on the bigger picture. The real story is not about one heated exchange. The real story is about whether this group can turn talent and passion into a championship run. As the season continued, the focus around the Los Angeles Lakers slowly shifted away from the bench moment and back to what really mattered: winning games.
Inside the locker room, players understood that the long NBA season always includes moments of frustration. What separates strong teams from struggling ones is how quickly they move past those moments and refocus on the next challenge. For Luka Doncic, the attention surrounding that sideline exchange became just another reminder of how closely people watch every move he makes. When a player reaches his level of talent and influence, even small gestures become headlines. Every reaction, every facial expression, and every conversation on the bench can be turned into a story. Luka has learned that playing for the Lakers means living under that spotlight every single night. Despite the noise, Luka continued doing what he has done his entire career, producing on the court. Over the next several games, he delivered strong performances that reminded everyone why the Lakers built their offense around him. His scoring remained elite, but what stood out even more was how he began involving his teammates early in games. Ball movement improved, and the offense began to look smoother. Head coach J.J. Redick also continued to show confidence in his star player. In interviews after games, Redick repeatedly praised Luka's competitiveness. He explained that players who care deeply about winning often show their emotions more openly. Instead of trying to silence that emotion, Redick wanted to guide it in a productive direction. One of the most important changes during that stretch was the Lakers' improved defensive effort. Earlier in the season, critics had pointed to defense as the team's biggest weakness. But during the games following the viral bench moment, players began communicating more on that end of the floor. Rotations looked sharper, and players were closing out on shooters with greater urgency. Veteran leadership also played a big role during this period. LeBron James, who has experienced nearly every type of pressure possible in the NBA, remained calm about the situation from the beginning. LeBron has always believed that emotional moments are part of competition. For him, the most important thing is how players respond afterward. In team meetings and practice sessions, LeBron encouraged everyone to keep the bigger goal in mind. The Lakers were trying to build momentum before the playoffs. A team with championship expectations cannot afford to get distracted by social media debates or outside criticism. Another player who helped stabilize the team during that stretch was Austin Reeves. Reeves has built a reputation as one of the hardest-working players on the roster. His willingness to play both ends of the floor gave the Lakers an important balance. When Luka handled the offense, Reeves often took on tough defensive assignments. Their partnership began improving as the season moved forward. In several games, Luka created open shots for Reeves, while Reeves helped push the pace in transition. That balance allowed the Lakers' offense to remain unpredictable. Meanwhile, role players like Jared Vanderbilt continued doing the little things that help teams win games. Vanderbilt's defensive energy and hustle plays became especially important when the Lakers faced teams with explosive scores. His ability to guard multiple positions gave Redick flexibility when designing defensive matchups. Fans also began to notice something interesting. The very moment that had created so much drama online seemed to strengthen the team's focus. Instead of creating division, it pushed everyone to communicate more openly. Players were talking more on the court and supporting each other during difficult stretches of games. For Redick, this development confirmed something he had believed since becoming head coach. A team cannot grow if everyone is afraid to challenge one another. Healthy disagreement can actually bring players closer together as long as respect remains in place. This idea has been shared by many successful coaches throughout basketball history. Coaches who demand accountability from their stars often build stronger teams in the long run. When the best player accepts criticism and continues working, the rest of the roster follows that example. Luka himself appeared to take that message seriously. In interviews after several games, he acknowledged that he was working to improve certain areas of his game. He specifically mentioned defense and overall team communication. While critics continued pointing out mistakes, Luka focused on showing progress on the court.
During one game against the Sacramento Kings, he delivered one of his most balanced performances of the season. Luka scored efficiently, created opportunities for teammates, and showed visible effort on defense. The Lakers won the game comfortably, and analysts began discussing the possibility that the team had finally found a rhythm. A few nights later, the Lakers faced the Indiana Pacers, another strong offensive team. Once again, Luka stepped up with a big scoring performance, while also contributing rebounds and assists. The team's confidence continued to grow. Each win helped quiet the critics who believed the Lakers' locker room was falling apart. Instead, the team looked more united than it had weeks earlier. Players were celebrating each other's success, and the bench was full of energy during games. Another important factor during this period was Redick's coaching style. As a former NBA player himself, he understands the emotional side of the game better than many coaches. Redick knows that players sometimes react strongly in the heat of competition. Instead of punishing those reactions, he tries to use them as learning moments. That approach helped maintain trust between him and his players. Luka knew that his coach would challenge him when necessary, but he also knew that the challenge came from a place of respect. When players feel that respect, they are more willing to listen. The Lakers' front office also remained supportive of the team during this stretch. Executives believed the roster had enough talent to compete with the best teams in the league. Their main goal was to allow the coaching staff and players time to build chemistry. As the playoff race tightened, every game began to carry more importance. The Western Conference standings were extremely competitive, with several teams fighting for favorable playoff positions. The Lakers needed to maintain their momentum to secure a strong seed. Luka continued leading the league in scoring, and his offensive numbers remained impressive. But what mattered even more to the coaching staff was how he was responding to pressure situations. In close games, Luka showed patience by finding open teammates instead of forcing difficult shots. That growth became clear during a tense matchup against the New York Knicks. The game remained close deep into the fourth quarter. Instead of trying to score every possession, Luka focused on creating opportunities for others. The Lakers eventually secured the win after a strong team performance.
After that game, Redick praised Luka's decision-making. He said the improvement in leadership was exactly what the team needed heading into the most important part of the season. For Redick, the goal was not simply scoring points, but building a team capable of winning tough playoff games. Meanwhile, conversations about the Lakers' future continued around the league. Analysts debated whether the team's current roster construction could lead to a championship. Some believed the offense was powerful enough to compete with anyone. Others worried about defensive consistency. Still, one thing was becoming clearer with each passing week. The relationship between Redick and Doncic was not breaking down. In fact, it appeared to be growing stronger through honest communication and shared goals. That reality made the viral bench moment look very different in hindsight. What once seemed like a dramatic conflict now looked more like a normal part of competition. Two passionate basketball minds had disagreed during a game, expressed their emotions, and then moved forward together. For Lakers fans, that realization brought some comfort. Championship teams rarely avoid conflict completely. Instead, they learn how to handle it and keep moving toward their goals. As the regular season entered its final stretch, the Lakers remained firmly in the playoff picture. Luka's offensive brilliance continued to attract attention, but the team's collective effort was becoming the real story. If the Lakers could maintain their improved defense and balanced offense, they would have a chance to challenge some of the strongest teams in the league. And if Luka and Redick continued working together with the same competitive spirit, the team's ceiling could rise even higher. In the end, the moment that once looked like a shocking revelation turned out to be something far more ordinary. It was simply a snapshot of how intense professional basketball can be. Passion, pressure, and the desire to win sometimes create heated exchanges. But when respect and commitment remain, those moments can help teams grow stronger. The Lakers' season still had many chapters left to be written. The playoffs would provide the ultimate test of their chemistry and resilience. But one thing had already become clear. The partnership between J.J. Redick and Luka Doncic was built on competition, honesty, and a shared determination to bring success to Los Angeles.